This is part 3 of my simple boat trailer build. The trailer worked very well. It tracked nice and straight. I could hardly tell it was behind me, pulling it out to the lake. I was able to put the boat into the water very easy. And it loaded back up onto the trailer very well. I want to go over some of the things I did off camera. I welded on a mount for the lights, for the rear lights, and this is 1/8 inch by 2 inch flat bar. And I made it long enough to go past the edge of the light. I believe it's about 8 inches from end to end. It's light enough so if I hit something, this will bend and it won't bend my side rail, and it will be easily straightened. And also left a little bit of room here, so give it a little fudge factor. If it did get bent a little bit, it wouldn't break the housing. I also welded washers on the inside of the rail to hold the wiring. You can see that washer up there all the way around. I drilled a hole in that cross member and fished the wire from the front with a piece of baling wire through the back and wrapped it down along that side to the corner and back over here to this side for the light. I used all stainless steel hardware on this. There's a stainless steel washer between the bunk mount and the bunk support bracket. Even though these are painted, they are stainless steel. I put the washer between these two pieces of metal so that it could pivot without scraping up the paint. And you can see here's a close-up of how I did the washers. And I used wire ties through the washers and around the wire. When I loaded the boat on the trailer, it slid right into these grooves. There's ridges here, here, and here. And it just lined up perfect. Slid right into the groove, went up on the trailer. Didn't have to jockey it side to side or anything. It turned out very nice. So on the bunks, I covered them with indoor-outdoor carpet. And what I did was I cut a strip of wood the length of the bunk, a little bit narrower than the groove that I cut in the bunk. I put contact cement down the bottom of the groove, and I used the strip of wood to push the indoor-outdoor carpet into the groove. Then I clamped it down and let the contact cement set up and grab hold, and I pulled the strip of wood out of the groove and the carpet was glued down good. So finished wrapping it with indoor-outdoor carpet, pulled the edges of the carpet over the bottom of the bunks and stapled them down and cut off the excess. And as far as the back goes, I just cut out the carpet in the corners and pulled them down and stapled them to the bottom. It seems to be working very well. I've had the boat in the water and it loads really nice. I pull the boat up to the trailer and power it on. The ridges on the boat nestle into the grooves on the bunks. It works very well. I bought 2 new tires from Amazon. They were just under $180 for tires and rims. These are 4-bolt rims. I painted them to match the trailer. I thought that would look nice, and I do believe it does. Now this bar, this roller shaft is not stainless steel. It's regular mild steel, and the cotter pins are not stainless steel. But everything else, all the other hardware that I used is stainless steel. Now when you buy your trailer lights, I recommend you buy boat trailer lights. I'm going to have to change these out. The good thing is most of the mounting bolts are the same distance, same diameter, so I can change these out very easy. What happened was I put the trailer in the water and my bulbs shattered. Luckily there was a convenience store at the lake I went to and they had replacement bulbs. I'm very happy with the paint. I made this bow support off camera and I used 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch angle iron. And I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend using 2 inch by 2 inch square tubing. I didn't have any and I didn't feel like buying any. So I used the 2.5 inch angle iron I had. Now, this angle here is 120 degrees. This is a pivoting bow support with the 2 rubber blocks. This pivot to the bottom block is 4 inches. Pivot to the top block is 6 inches. And that's to accommodate the eye on the bow of the boat. So it will go underneath the block. These are 12 inch by 1/8 inch flat iron, and there's a stainless steel washer under it between the square tubing here and the flat iron. And I used nylock nuts so that I didn't have to tighten them down real tight. Since this is longer here, when I launch the boat, this will lay down this way. So as the boat comes on the trailer, this is the first contact rubber, and it pushes it down and this pivots up. This is a piece of square tubing, the same width as my block. And I just V-notched it and welded it onto that angle iron. I welded a plate across the angle iron, drilled 2 holes in it, and put a U-bolt in it to hold my safety line. This is synthetic winch line made for ATVs. It's really strong stuff. I use super glue on the bowline knots on each end. And I just welded a plate on top of the angle iron to hold my winch. Now this really is a simple trailer. There's only 2 bends in the whole trailer. This bend here and the bend on the other side. And you don't really need to put those plates right there for strength. I think it would be strong enough without them. But I tend to overbuild everything. So things I would have done differently. I would have put the axle back farther. I would have mounted the axle right there. Put a little more weight on the front. I would have used square tubing for the bow support. And I would have bought trailer light fixtures. Other than that, I like it. Turned out well. I think I'm going to be moving the axle back as soon as the weather dries up and the rain stops and I'm able to paint. I'll go ahead and cut the spring hanger mounts off, cut the fenders off, weld the front spring hanger on about where the rear spring hanger is here, and the rear spring hanger back there. And then the axle will be farther back. Like I said, it works very well. The boat sits right where it's supposed to be.